Hey everybody, Zach here from Absolutely Disney. I already shared what you should bring to the parks, but as I promised, I'm now going to share my best tips for a 2020 Disney trip. Make sure to check out my previous video linked below to see what you need to bring with you to Disney during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's slightly different than what you would bring on a normal Disney trip, but now I want to share some tips I think you should keep in mind. First of all, in regards to masks, I found that a mask with real structure is the most breathable. Masks are going to be hot. After all, exhaling is one way that our bodies cool off. Not much we can do about that. But in terms of breathability, a mask that doesn't press up on your nose and mouth is best. If your mask is being sucked into your nose and mouth, it will make it almost impossible to inhale efficiently. So find a mask with structure that will still filter your breath, of course. This next tip is for those who are flying into Orlando to visit. Get out of the Orlando International Airport as fast as possible. The Orlando Airport is an absolute mess in terms of COVID safety. When I arrived, I literally couldn't even count how many people in entire groups were not wearing their mask correctly or wearing a mask at all. Social distancing was at a minimum and it felt very dangerous, so get to that magical express corner of the airport as fast as you can. Another thing I noticed is that all the parks were much emptier in the afternoons. My guess is that because the wait times are so short and since a lot of attractions are not available currently, guests are probably finishing all they want to do in the morning, so they leave or go to the springs in the afternoons. So if you know you'll be at the park all day, then what I did was run to whatever ride I want to at Park Open, do all the lower wait rides in the morning, and hit those more popular attractions in the afternoon into the evening. At Studios, I was able to walk onto Smuggler's Run, Tower of Terror, and Rock and Roller Coaster all from around 3 to 4 p.m. because it was so empty. That's pretty much unheard of. My next tip is to utilize those indoor rides. The Florida heat can be brutal, and wearing that mask you will be extra hot, so utilize those indoor rides. Disney is sparing no expense on air conditioning, so hit those indoor rides to cool off. And lines move so fast because of low crowds and no fast passes, you won't be waiting in the outdoor section of queues for long. And by the way, the Haunted Mansion is freezing, so if you're really hot at the Magic Kingdom, head over there to cool off. I also have a pair of tips for when you're at your resort. The first one being just stay away from pools. I usually recommend this in general because those pools seem unsanitary without a pandemic, but those pools are a mess currently. Social distancing is near non-existent. Masks of course won't be worn in the pools, and people are not even wearing masks outside of the pool. I know that with the current limited hours that the parks are open, it can get a little boring sitting in your room, but trust me, when you see what those pools look like, you probably will want to skip it. So bring entertainment for those kids so that if they're not already dozing off on the bus ride back, they're not going to want to go in those pools. Also, if you have dining reservations at resorts that aren't where you're staying, make sure to have Uber or Lyft downloaded on your smartphone or some kind of taxi service available. Buses and Skyliners are not currently running nearly as much. Buses don't start running until half an hour before parks open, so you won't be able to get a bus anywhere until 7:30. And Skyliners won't be open until 9:30. So if you have a reservation in the early morning, it's going to be difficult to get where you need to be. Admittedly, I don't know how the monorails are working, but I assume similarly. If anybody could let me know, I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure somebody staying at a resort with monorail access would too. The last tip and the most important tip, and I mentioned this in my first video about COVID, but things are going to be different. This is going to be a different experience than usual. Disney has lost a lot of money in the months before they reopened, and Disney is probably still losing a lot of money with such limited capacity. So please give them a break, especially the cast members. They're in just as much danger to COVID as you, and they have even less control of situations than they normally do. Frankly, this is not the time to whine for free things, if there is any time for that. Please be understanding of the situation you are in. Disney is losing money so that you can have a good time. Those are all my 2020 Disney trip tips. I hope you enjoyed and can take something away from this for your upcoming Disney trip. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified of all my Disney videos. This has been Zach from Absolutely Disney. Thank you so much for watching, and have a magical day.